love that new opening. It is very dramatic. I think I'll probably change it after the Kickstarter, but just for now, I don't know, it makes me happy. Welcome in, you guys. Welcome in, Vit. Welcome in, Harrowbed. How are you both? You deserve some soup. Probably do. Oh, morning. No, afternoon. Good afternoon, ads. How are you? No, your D&D got cancelled. Oh, dude, that sucks. Ah, oh, awesome opening. Favourite soup? Maybe. Yeah, oh. Maybe Thai green chicken curry? Hey, Creative Garden, welcome in. How are you doing? Good early morning. How are you? Well, I guess it's not too early. Do you know, I can't remember which slice of America you're in. Also, I realised I've got a top-down camera and I'm not... Thai green curry is not a soup, it's a stew. But it's Thai green chicken curry soup. I mean, it says soup on the label. So is it? Well, okay, if I can't have Thai green curry, I'll go for pumpkin. Pumpkin soup is great. Okay, so what I've got for these is... Okay, that is a very good soup. I love chili soup too. Do you know, I've never had a chili soup, ever. That sounds cool. Normally I'm in New York City time zone, but at the moment, you're in New Zealand. Hey, welcome. Not that I'm there in New Zealand at the moment to welcome you, but it's a lovely place. Thank you. What did you do? Watch streak reached. I see. Oh, congratulations. I'm not having this. You can't just put soup after something and make it soup. Sausage soup is not soup. I've had banana soup before. Fight me. Actually, the banana soup I made was not that great. It was like, so it was a savoury banana soup, and it was interesting. It was interesting. It was one of those ones where you eat it, and as the spoon goes in, you're like, oh, that's not very nice. That's not good. And then afterwards, there was like an aftertaste that made you want to have more. And then you'd have more and you'd be like, oh, no, this isn't very good. And then you put your spoon down and then like 2 minutes later you'd be like, I mean, maybe it is okay. And then you have it and you're like, no. My favourite soup is Cocoa Pops. I will die on this hill. Welcome in, Silama. It's like porridge. I tried to make savoury watermelon soup once. It was passable. Yeah. My mum's classic family soup recipe is lentil, bacon and sausage soup, and it is good. So respectfully, you're clearly wrong. I will fight your mum. This is getting heated, you guys. Okay, so I'm going to start doing things with my hands, so just to narrate what I am doing. So the Kickstarter has reached the goal where we're going to have pillar pieces. So I need to take a whole bunch of pictures and GIFs of pillars being used in different ways. And to do that, I need to paint some pillars to be used in different ways. Now, unfortunately, these ones are what I was able to print yesterday because I managed to get the 3D printer fixed and it printed these and then it broke again. So I was trying to fix it again this morning. And So we've got some plain pillar pieces of 2-inch, 3-inch and 1-inch. We have some 1-inch pillars that are printed more as they'll actually be. So you can see that it's wood on 2 sides and then stone on 2 sides. Yeah, so this is how they'll actually be looking. Although, I will say, we've been having some chat in the Discord about making the pillars. And so people have been saying... So the production of these, the way that I had this planned, soup as a new stretch goal. I was genuinely excited for pillar pieces in all forms despite this soup talk. Yes! So, modular soup. So there are different ways that we can do these. This is how I'd priced it up originally. So the idea is that they're injection molded in 2 halves, the magnets put in, and then the halves put together. The benefits of this, so ways that you can use them, of course, you can just have them round to the outside, so either to make the edge look more interesting, or if you want to have some wall pieces on the side of your tile and you don't want to put them on top of your tile, you can do this and put them down the side. Some people prefer that. It's a way that I've definitely used them, but I know it may not be the way that everyone else uses them, so that's an option of how to use them. The other thing is, okay, we'll just imagine that this is cobblestone or the side of a house, for example, and you can, for example, use it as a sort of guttering or like a decoration thing around the top of the piece. So that's an option. You can use them... Do you know what? I'll use one of the ones that doesn't have a lumpy bottom to demonstrate this, as sort of flying stands. What I didn't do was get a mini with metal on the bottom. That would have been real smart. All right, I can see a mummy. I'm coming for you, mummy. I'm coming. Hang on, sorry, I'm caught in a wire. I'll be there in half a tick. Oh gosh, sorry, just knocked some things. And we're back. So, good night, Creative Garden. Off to bed, have a good stream. Hopefully I can catch you streaming when I'm normal time zone again. That'd be lovely. And in a few weeks, I'll be going to New Zealand for a few months, so I'll be streaming UK evening time then. So yes, this is one that's just got some magnets on the bottom, so you can do them as a flying stand if you use the pillars made with magnets. So there's an option for that. And the other thing is that you can do stuff like make... So let's see if this actually works. Hey! So you can't see it very easily. We'll do it sideways. You've got someone hanging upside down, so I don't know. And I'd like to do some streetlight things that snap onto it. How can you put a plinth on a stand? You could. So if by plinth we use a 1x1 tile, it's yeah, a sort of plinth on a stand thing. And I mean, you can use that for your as a flying stand as well. And I need to find one that's printed well. Yeah, so you can also do it with the 3x1. So the thing is, to get these injection molded, it's but would need to be a magnetic stand rather than ferrous. Well, here's the point. So to get these injection molded, it's 4,000, I want to say 500, give or take, to make the actual tool itself. And then the actual making the parts, let me get my spreadsheet. Price to make each item. Okay, yeah. So it ends up that if you have a pack of 12 of these, it would be £18. A pack of 12 of these would be would be £17, and 12 of these would be £16. But so when I did the surveys and asked people what pieces were most important to them, it ended up being a pretty even split. Basically nothing in it between 1x1, 2-inch and 3-inch, and then slightly more wanting 1-inch. And when I say slightly more, I mean, you know, a maximum of 20%. So, but would need to be a magnetic stand rather than ferrous. So yeah. I think I literally just did the same thing, like read the same message again and gave the same response. Immediate thought. If you cannot make the money back on pillars alone just in the Kickstarter, it does not justify the tool. Yeah, so I would definitely not make the money back of the tool for the pillars. That's for sure. So the other option of how to make them is to get them moulded by Louis out of our special ferrous resin. So this is a chair made out of our magic resin, and it snaps onto the side and you can have it upside down. So it would snap onto the walls. You can see the... So I'll try and do the difference between this and this. It's got a bit less of a pull, but I will be working with Louis to try and increase the magnetic strength of this resin. So it will probably have as, not quite as good a pull, but close enough. And it will certainly be good enough for the use cases of having them round the side as underneath for one of these. It will be good enough for the use case of having it like on one of these as like an extra thing, decoration or whatever. Will they be good enough to use as flying stands? Not sure. I personally am not convinced. Well, if you want my take, having not actually got any samples of pillars made from the resin, so I've only got this chair made from the resin. From my thoughts, I think that having them moulded in the resin will be definitely good enough for the decorations around the side, all of that. For the flying stands, they'll probably be okay, but I wouldn't do a lot of marketing of them as flying stands because I think that would be like a nice added bonus rather than like a core thing they're like optimized to be really good at. They would be a lot faster for me to produce if they're moulded in the ferrous resin, because that means that I don't have to do all the assembly of putting all the magnets inside these and then putting them together. So there's also the thoughts that if I do the moulded in the ferrous resin as one piece, I can get a better mould. So the moulding for the mould, like the flexible mould, is a lot cheaper than the injection moulding mould. So we would remove that 4,500 cost. And although we'd have some slight compromise in their ability to be used as flying stands without the magnets in them, they would be, I think, just as good for structural support and possibly even better for decoration, because it would allow us to do, at the moment, injection moulding. We can do wood on two sides, stone on the other two. If we were doing them moulded from the ferrous resin, we could do wood on all four sides and stone on all four sides, for example. One thing you wouldn't be able to do if they're moulded from the ferrous resin is, so this, at the moment, I can take these, I mean, I don't really need to put this middle one, and make a small walkway, shall we say. And this, we wouldn't be able to have this snap to this if they're done in ferrous resin. Then again, how often do you need to make a small floating walkway? And if you needed to do it, could you hack it? And is it worth that amount of money to get this edge case capability? Okay, right, let me get to chat. See, my approach as an excitable customer is whatever is available is what I will use to build with and make work. It's like Lego. You can build whatever you want with the pieces available. They're all cool for different reasons. Getting more or different sized pillars at a later date is something future me will be interested in, but current me is happy with any pillars at all. Not worth the loss of 3,500 in order to get a slightly stronger click, maybe? Yeah, just, you know, Fit, I had been like, no, we should make them like the best possible quality we can. And now I'm thinking, yeah, but if you could get more pillars for your £20, and it's a bit of a compromise, but to be honest, they're going to be amazing anyway. Maybe people would value better value for money. Like, you know? This is accurate. Yeah. Right then, this makes complete sense with what you are marketing them for, i.e. building terrain. You are not selling spell effects or flying stands in this Kickstarter. Yeah, I would love more pillars, agreed. Yeah, so I was speaking to Louis. We had a phone call earlier. So we were talking about nailing down the ivy prices, getting that spiker trap going, maybe moulding the arch doorway, the rose arch. Ooh. And also, of course, talking about the pillars. And he was saying that what we could potentially do is pepper the mould with a bunch more 1x1s. So at the moment, I asked for the quotes of making the pillars if they were moulded as 3, 2, 2. So 3 of these, 2 of these, and 2 of these. And what he thinks is that we could probably get he said a few more. How many is a few more? Don't know yet. So basically, I've assigned him the task of being like, okay, how many can we cram into this mould? And what's the price if we do that? So he's going away and getting the price of if we cram more in this mould, and he'll get back to me by end of this week. And I think in the meantime, I was going to send that survey out to see what size pieces people want more of. And sorry, I don't know what my hair is doing today. We're just going to ignore it. Just ignore it, Annabelle. Just ignore it. So in that case, that would mean that we have ferrous pillars that snap to all the sides and stuffs, but don't snap to each other, but you get a bunch more in the pack and more for your money. And it will be easier for me to manufacture. And it means that we can have wood on all 4 sides, say, or do something fancy like a nice decoration pillar that's got like fancy scrolling in it or something like that. I do like bunches of things. Yeah, you know, the more I have this conversation with you guys, the more I'm moving into the mould it from ferrous plastic side of the fence. I was team injection moulding, because I was like, yeah, it's the upfront cost, but then you'll get all the more magnets. But I'm also thinking, you know what? There's another thought, an angle to this that I don't know if this is a thing that so do you know what? I'm just going to say it. So I'm thinking that if we mould them from the magic resin, then we are not going to have as many magnets. So this one has 7 magnets in it, I want to say, of 2 different types. And I'm thinking that they're rare earth magnets. The metal has to be mined. It's not always the best environmental thing. Yes, they retain their magnetism for a long time, so it's not like it's a one and done. You can keep using it, and they're very strong, very useful. But there is an environmental cost that you don't get with the magic resin, as far as I understand it. You can say that this is moulded from recycled plastic, and I don't think the resin is recycled. I need to double check. So there is that, but mining does have an environmental cost. So I would argue that these moulded from ferrous resin are going to be more environmentally friendly. The other thing I do keep an eye on is, so you know how there's been, you won't have missed it, there's been some stuff in the news lately, and there is talk that Trump may be setting some tariffs on imports into the US, and that there is talk that he might be pressuring partners into putting on tariffs for imports from China, for example. So the magnets, they are made in China. 90% of the rare earth metal magnets in the world are made in China. I believe the US is working on production facilities for those, because they're now suddenly like, oh God, we need to get a supply chain that isn't, if we're going to be isolationist, we probably shouldn't be relying on the rest of the world for a lot of our military raw materials. So they're working on getting some production up and running. I think there's some in South Africa that's a lot cheaper and a lot more dodgy. As this is my own research. I could be wrong, but that's my understanding. So that's exactly what I want to do, Vit. That is exactly what I want to do. And yes. So this Kickstarter will be an opportunity for me to stockpile on magnets. Because I've got a good supplier now. I've worked with them several times. They do good quality. The magnets are as strong as they say they are, which has not always been the case with suppliers in the past. So the magnets are as strong as they say they are. They don't corrode. They are really good. Magnate, yes. So I was thinking I would stockpile on magnets. And if there are disruptions to the global supply chain, say there is a trade war and things from China get a lot more expensive, it would not affect the pillar price if we're doing it from this ferrous resin. And that's another thing that's quite nice about having the manufacturing done locally, is that, so for example, Dwarven Forge get theirs all made in China, right? And I wonder, with these Trump tariffs, is all of Dwarven Forge gonna go up in price by 60% or whatever he's putting on? Hey, thank you for the follow. Hey, it's Karen. Welcome in, Karen. Hey. So I don't know if that's going to be a thing. Yeah. So I don't know if Dwarven Forge is going to suddenly spike in price because of the tariffs. I don't know. But because the manufacturing for us is here in the UK, we shouldn't have a spike for price. The only question mark would be the magnets, and I'll be buying those in advance. That is all a long way to say, here is another pro of doing it through the ferrous resins side. Thanks for the warm welcome. Pleasure. Welcome in. Are you like just new from browsing Twitch, or like do you know me from stuff before? Basically, should I introduce myself? Yeah, so all of this conversation is really making me think, let's go for the ferrous resin side of things and make more in a pack. And we'll have a more secure supply chain for the future. I'm a big fan of future-proofing. I started using Twitch from yesterday. Oh, well, welcome in. I'm just thinking back to when I first started Twitch, because now, it turns out I've been streaming for like 3 years now. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, I like to imagine it sort of like a Zoom call with only one person having their camera showing and the rest and everyone else typing. Except it's a Zoom call that you can also do emotes or subs or whatever. Yeah. Okay, so I think... Have I covered everything about pillars? Is there any more questions you guys have? Where do the channels go when you follow them? Do you know, I have no idea. I know I've been streaming on Twitch for a while, but I'm not that good at it. But I know that when you do follow them, when they're live, they pop up on the left if you're on desktop. I am pillar happy. Excellent. Hey. Well, in that case, I will spend the rest of the team stream chatting with you guys while I try and paint these up. So, oh, this is interesting. So I've done them as stone on two sides, wood on the other, but if we're doing them molded from ferrous, I think I might even just do the survey assuming made from ferrous plastic. I think this conversation has made up my mind. You know, it is really nice to be able to chat with you guys and like think things through and talk out loud and like bounce ideas. I do feel like something I miss when I'm like working on my own and as part of a solo business is that I feel like I don't get to bounce ideas off people or brainstorm as much as if I was working as part of a team. And I do miss teamwork. And it is so lovely to have you guys to be able to like teamwork with. Look at that decisive lady. Go you. Yeah, look at me making decisions. Making decisions like a real adult. Do you know, I am chronically indecisive. So in my real life, I'm the sort of person that, you know, I'm that really irritating person that you go, oh, what do you want to eat? And I'm like, oh, I don't mind. And then it's like, would you like, I don't know, curry or Chinese? And I'm like, oh, I like curry. Yeah, I like Chinese. Both would be good. And then they're like, yeah, all right. But like, I'm not, when I'm making a decision just for myself, I can make decisions easy. But if I'm making decisions that other people's happiness rests on, I get super indecisive, and I want to change that about myself. Hey. Oh yes, thank you, Vit. Yeah, so I make, I should show you what I make. So I make double-sided magnetic modular dungeon tiles. So you can build up scenes, and I've got a Kickstarter going on at the moment. Wait, I have a new thing for Kickstarter, Kickstarter. Hey! So I have a Kickstarter live at the moment where I'm doing the new wall pieces, some magnetic terrain. So we have a, fireplace there, flaming torch, spike trap. Yeah, all sorts of things that you can stick on to make it more unique and personalised to your game. Yes, the click-clack. Yeah, I have to admit, it does make me happy, is that noise. And you can build, like, maps up really quickly and easily. It makes me really happy. Yeah, this started as a sort of crafting project, and then... thank you. Thank you. It started as a crafting project, and then like I had to take time away from my PhD, and then I ended up working, like putting everything into doing this. People started asking to buy it. It became a business. First Kickstarter allowed me to buy like a suite of 3D printers, and everything was 3D printed. I mean, it was great because it got me from 0 to a decent amount, and like got me traction and customers, and like I was able to do a minimum viable product and bring it to people. But it was super labor intensive. Like, we're talking 3D printing every piece, putting every magnet in with glue and stuff. Then the second Kickstarter allowed me to get injection molding. So parts like this that are made entirely injection molded. So it's a lot more secure, the magnets stay in. Yeah, it's nice. And the magnets now rotate in their sockets, so they always connect. You don't have to worry about them repelling in any orientation. And then now we're on the third Kickstarter, where I've taken it from just these pieces on the floor to having different wall pieces. And again, these can be double-sided, wattle and daub on both sides, or you can have wattle on one side, stone on the other. Yeah, and taken me to start doing scenery. And now I'm working with another... so I've got 2 manufacturers that I'm working with. One that does all the injection moulding, so the floor and the wall piece, and one that has made a very special resin for us that snaps to them so you can make different scenery. So I've been designing different scenery pieces, and then they're going to be moulding it for us in this special magnetic resin. And that's where we are with the third Kickstarter. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I feel like I have a lot of knowledge about this project, just... because I've ended up doing it all. So I have all the like technical knowledge of like making molds and plastic manufacturing and all of that sort of thing, and the physics side of things, then the supply and demand side of things, and then the marketing, which I'm like, okay at, but like doing all the photography, learning about lighting, learning about doing all the like photo editing and stuff, all the video editing, all the things. Yeah. Thank you. Amazing. This product can blow up like Lego and be very big. That would be cool. That would be cool. I think at the moment I would be happy if this Kickstarter gets to 40k. I will be very happy, because that will allow me to do all the base things that I want and do some extra things. So some of the extra stuff I've been working on is like show better against the red, but like ivy that you can snap on, so you can well, I've called it ivy, it's not really ivy leaves, but you know what I mean. So you can like customize your houses and stuff like that, and making rose archways. This is another thing I've been... So I just play with little Fimo clay in the mornings. And this is what I've done recently that I quite like, that I might be doing, is for the outside, it's a little wishing fountain thing. So you can't really see, but it's got runes scratched on it and then some gold coins in the bottom. I'm in the process of filling that with some resin. When I say resin, I mean Mod Podge. So I've been putting like little layers of Mod Podge in so the coins can be underwater and then letting it dry under the heater thing. And that is almost ready for another layer of Mod Podge. Hey, aren't you? Thank you. So... the daisies. Goodness gracious, there we go. So actually, how much fun you'd have making gargoyles. Yes. Yeah. So we'll see. If we're doing these out of ferrous resin, I need to get back to my spreadsheets and see if that means we can afford some extra little things. We'll see. So yeah, that's what I do. I think I would like it to be a bit more popular because I tell you what, it would be really nice to pay myself a decent salary. Because you look at, say, how much the Kickstarter is getting. Let's say the Kickstarter does go to 40k. Then at least half of that will be on fulfilling the Kickstarter. Another 5% going to Kickstarter and other, like the credit card fees and all of that. So plus so let's say that's, you've got 45% of 40k. God, why did you give yourself that maths to do? Come on, Annabelle. 0.45 times 40. Okay, so that's £18,000. And that has to cover all of the electricity, the things like packaging boxes, raw materials for the prototypes I do, say the 3D printer, or the materials for the filament or the resin for the other 3D printer, new FEP films, all of that sort of thing. And I would like to also pay myself. So let's say half of that goes on to goes on to fixed costs. So that would be 9k. I'm not going to have 9k left over as wages. There's no way. I think a maximum of 4k, because things always end up costing more. But let's say let's round it up and say that I have 5k. That means that if it takes me 5 months to fulfill this project, I would be paying myself £1,000 a month for a lot of work. So it's hard because if it blew up and I had more people backing the Kickstarter and it got to like, I don't know, let's say it got to like the 80k range, that would be amazing because I could do all of this stuff. Squirrel deterrents, there are secret costs. Yeah, software, like the Canva subscription, Shopify subscription, Easy Ship subscription, all of these things. If I want to pay the Fusion 360 subscription, that's like 500 quid. Like, yeah. So let's say I was able to, at the moment, I'm paying myself £500 a month. If I could get that to £1,000 a month, I could, that's probably where we'll be at the moment. And I could earn more money working as a checkout girl in the supermarket. But I have more fun doing this. And I think if the project got to like 60 to 80k, then I could afford to pay myself almost... Could I afford a minimum wage? I'm not sure I could actually, but... Well, if we got to 60 or 80k, I could afford a minimum wage for myself if I prioritised that. If we got past 100k and we started getting, almost a living wage, if we got to like 200k, 300k, I think that suddenly I'd be able to pay myself a lot more. But there would be all these extra things. So there'd be the whole thing of, at the moment, my mum packages and ships all the rewards and stuff. If we had like, I don't know, 1,000 backers, that's not really so feasible anymore. At the moment, I store things in my bedroom, but there wouldn't be enough room. The reality is you would plough most back into the business. I mean, yeah. I would like to be able to afford health insurance for myself. That would be really exciting. I would love that. Yeah. I use Blender. So when I'm doing 3D modelling on the computer, I use a mixture of Fusion 360 and Blender depending on how the product's going to be used. So for example, if it's going to be used in floor tiles, you can't use Blender because it has to be a solid file. So either a STP file or a NURBS file. So yeah, has to be Fusion 360. And they do not like it if you do STL files and then convert them to solid files. People don't like that. Apparently it needs to have the actual, like, to be mathematically calculated as waveform? I don't know. But yeah, so it's hard. It's hard. You have to mix and match a lot of different things. But yeah, if we got to like 80k, that would be the dream. If we got to like 200k, that would be amazing, but suddenly a different ball game where I'd have to learn a lot of like getting new distribution set up and all of that stuff. I'd enjoy it, but I'm also quite content, I think. Well, content is never something I'm very good at. So for this Kickstarter, I've really enjoyed doing it, and I feel like it's a good Kickstarter, it's a good product, it's well researched, I've got my maths behind me, all of that, but it was very much a sort of ready or not, here it comes. And I feel like if I'd had another 2 weeks, I could have got all the add-ons finished before the Kickstarter launched, and then I could have spent more time on marketing, and then the marketing would have been so much better, and no. So I spent a lot of time going, ugh, this could have been so much better if, like, it wasn't just you. Like, I feel like I'm a limiting factor sometimes. But then I think about if it did go to like 200k, suddenly like the game would change, and I'm like, do you know what? I kind of enjoy being able to like communicate with you guys. Like, if you had a much bigger group, then it would be harder to have so much like connection or one-to-one time. Well, I don't know if we have one-to-one time. You know what I mean? Like being able to reply and talk to people properly. I don't know, there's something to be said for just enjoying being where you are, which I'm not always very good at doing when I'm on my own. But in front of other people, I'm like, oh yeah, this is really cool. Oh yeah. Yeah. Brains. It's very difficult to start a business. I was wondering, as technical artist as in clothing brand, and I encountered a lot of new things. I learned 3 more software just to work with the manufacturer. Tell me about it. Last year, I was doing a talk for Summer Lab, which is a sort of entrepreneurial summer course in Auckland. That's where I first learnt, because I was like, I've got this idea for magnetic terrain. How would I make that like a thing? And I was like, oh shit, I probably need to learn some business skills. So I did this 4-week summer course, and it was so much fun, and I learned so much. So anyway, I've spoken a couple of times. Last year I was doing my presentation to speak again, and I was like, I'll list all the new software that I've had to learn. And it was like over 20 different kinds of software taking up a huge amount of space on the screen, and I realised I wasn't finished. There were so many more, and I was like, like you don't notice how broad and how much you have to learn. Marketing is the second most important thing after products. Yes, it is not the thing I am second best at. I think I am best at making the product. I'm best at designing new product and doing cool things. Telling people about the product and like the promo, I would put that as a solid, of my top skills, that's gotta be near the bottom of the list. The problem with perfection is how long it takes. God, tell me about it. I have this, like, the longest time growing up, I had this mantra that, you know, good enough is not good enough. It has to be better than good enough. And, like, as I've got older, I found that sometimes done is better than perfect. And just being able to put something out there. And it's something I find really hard. But good enough is very often good enough. In fact, I can't think of many times in my life when good enough has not been good enough. No, I don't think so. So yeah, I agree. Good enough is better than theoretically perfect and never done. And we're 2 months... I used Clip Studio Paint, Krita, Blender, but after working with the manufacturer, I learned they only work with certain software files. So I had to learn totally different softwares. Yeah, I feel your pain. I empathise. Yes. That was me after the last Kickstarter. Oh, God, sorry. I just poured out a whole amount of brown. Like, more brown than I'm going to use. That's really annoying. Brown's like a special one. When I say special, I mean I use more of it than I buy. Annabelle thinks... Oh, I have no idea. I've missed that one. Sorry. But yeah, that was me last time, was after doing the Kickstarter, having the cool thing. Well, actually, no, that was just before the Kickstarter that I approached the manufacturer with the files. And they were like, yeah, no, these need to be STP files. And then there was like a whole bunch of pain where I tried to just convert files rather than redoing them. And I didn't know Fusion 360. It was my first time using like parametric modeling software, and it was confusing. It was absolute hell for about 3 weeks. I was just miserable trying to learn it. And then somehow it kind of clicked, and then it was okay. And now it's what I use all the time and I love it. But that horrible, like, learning curve of having to do a new software, even though you have the product already, you have the thing, but because the manufacturers want it in a different format, you have to go and redo it and relearn a software in order to do it. I feel ya. You were doing a thinking face. That might have been when I was trying to think of a time when good enough has not been good enough. And I'm struggling. There must have been a time when good enough was not good enough. It'll probably come to me at like 2 in the morning. 2 in the morning, I'll be like, oh, that's what you should have said on stream. And we were 2 months to the date we decided to launch. Yes. Well, this Kickstarter originally was going to be in September. Then it was going to be in October. Then it's ended up being in November. And I couldn't push it back anymore because we need to do it before Christmas. And I think also I'd set myself as a challenge because I want to get better at doing this, you know, good enough is good enough. Done is better than perfect. Like, all of that stuff. And I, you know, supposedly I'm a perfectionist and that can hold me back sometimes. And I want to practice being better and getting over that and, you know, putting things out whether I deem it's worthy or not, and then just sort of seeing, you know, just accepting what happens or whatever. I don't know. I'm trying to do that whole therapy, learning how to human, try to be a better, like, improve, grow as a person, that sort of thing. So part of that was this Kickstarter was like, ready or not, here it comes. Part of it was that. Part of it was the Trump tariffs. Although, let's be real, when I first was like setting the date, I wasn't thinking that Trump would get in. And then part of it is also because you do not want to launch a Kickstarter in January or February because it's a dead zone. No one has money in January. Everyone spent it on Christmas, me included, so I get that. So it was like, you do it now or you do it in March, and I was like, do I really want to wait another 6 months? Plus, I engaged a sponsor to do a sponsored video, 2 of them, and I'd spoken to them early, and I was like, I'd already put them back, and then I was like, I don't want to put them back again. So, yeah. And to be honest, the Kickstarter funded in 7 hours. So before I did the launch stream, there was a part of me, I was going, like, I said to my parents, I was like, guys, what if, like, can you imagine if it just bombs? And I've done all this work, and I tried so hard, and done this launch stream, and people come to the launch stream, and then it just is a desert. That didn't happen. We're good. We passed the funding goal in 7 hours. We're great. And we're on to stretch goals, and it's like, yesterday we were 6 days in, 6 stretch goals in. I'm not sure if we'll get our 7th stretch goal today. We'll see. We'll find out. Sometimes you just gotta go for it. Exactly. Yes. I think this has been, and is still, a process of me just going for it, trying my best, and seeing what happens. And honestly, it's been good. It's been really good. Stressful for me, just because I'm like, I don't know if you would have guessed, I have anxiety. I am quite an anxious person at times. And like, putting yourself out there and making it public, every mistake you make on the Kickstarter, everyone can see. It's there public. Any typos, anything you get wrong, if you do your maths wrong, it's in front of everyone. And like, every flaw I see, or like, oh, you haven't posted on social media today, like, everyone can see. So it can be quite, it can, like, I could get quite nervous about it. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a fun thing. I'm really glad I'm doing it. I'm really glad I've done it. I think it definitely is a case of good enough being good enough. I'm really happy with where we are. And I still have those thought patterns that I have had since childhood that I am not good enough. After December, I have some free time. I want to contribute. If you don't mind, I can make illustrations for advertisement for you. Oh, that's so lovely. That is so lovely, Karen. Thank you. That is really kind. Ooh, what kind of illustrations do you do? That is so lovely. Oh, and I missed, but just doing and taking action was a good idea at the end because, yes, it took us more time than expected, but if we thought to learn the everything before and then go for it, it would take more time. Yes, I agree. Sometimes, that's another thing, is if you wait until you're ready, like, chances are things will have moved on by then, because if you give yourself more time, you will take more time. And if you force yourself into a deadline situation where you do not have more time, you do tend to end up prioritising and spending your time a bit more wisely. Mostly. Not always the case. Sometimes I spend my time, I spend a lot of time answering, I don't know, individual messages or having a conversation with someone where I'm like, if you'd shortened that conversation, you could have had half an hour and done this thing or whatever. But I mean, oh gosh, I don't know, prioritization is hard, right? Oh, comic book type and children's book type illustration. Ooh. Oh, I would love to see it, and that sounds really cool. Definitely after Christmas. Yeah, after December, get in touch. That would be really cool. Maybe see, I'm doing a, illustrated adventure with these terrain sets. I'm wondering if maybe an illustration for one of the monsters, so we're using, where's the screaming ghost face? Ah, yes. Here we go. So, this is one of the stretch goals unlocked, is a couple of screaming ghost faces. So they, the idea is that they come out of the walls and sort of at you. Yeah, and that's going to be everyone. We've passed that stretch goal, so everyone gets 2 of those free in their pledge. So I'm going to do a stat block for it. That could be fun. It's nice. Today's a rainy day. You just got the rain pattering on the roof. It's a nice, you know, it's like a cozy vibe. Here. So after the stream is done, like after I've finished painting these chaps or chapettes. Is chaps gendered? I suppose it is. Yeah, so what would be a gender neutral version of chaps? Maybe it is chap. Yeah, chaps and chapettes. I feel like I'm taking this too far for what I'm calling these pillars. But once I've finished painting these chaps and chapettes, otherwise known as pillars, then I'll be doing some pictures and then a few GIFs, I think. And then I'll use those in the survey, and I'll make the survey probably tomorrow, let's be real, because what I'd like to do is also I want to take a video of something. We have sleet! Yeah, we had sleet this morning! Hey, and my sister further north had snow this morning, but we just had rain. Yeah. I'm a bit scared because my uni exams are going to start from 22. Ooh, good luck on your exams. I tell you what, your uni exams probably seem at the moment like they are all-encompassing, like they are the most important thing. And if you fail the exams, you failed life, or I don't know, that you're not going to get a job or all of that. I just want to say that, like, it's very easy to feel that in the moment and when you're doing exams. And I'm not saying don't study, definitely study, but don't attach your personal worth to your exam results. Like, in 10 years, they're really not going to matter to you as much as they do now. They're really not going to be looked at on your CV as much as they are now. So yeah, just if you're someone that gets super anxious about exams and feels like, oh, this is like who I am as a person on the line in this exam paper, it's not. You'll be good. Like, study hard, do well, but if exams aren't your mojo or it doesn't work out, it's all right. It's all downhill from here. I have to say, maybe I'm giving bad advice because I did study chemistry and do a lot of exams on, like, organic chemistry and, like, medicine chemistry and, you know, how do H1 receptors work. And now I make toys. I'm a toy maker. So I don't use my exams or my degree at all in my work. And maybe that is skewing the response and the advice that I'm giving here. Thank you. These words really pushed me and made me happy. Ah, I'm glad. I'm glad. The cold weather and the exam stress makes me so sad. Yes, I can understand. Yeah. Winter exams are brutal. But just think, once you get it done, you'll have Christmas before you, and you'll be good. You got this. Hey, I also studied science in high school, now learning coding. Nice! I did science in high school. I have very basic coding skills, like enough to do some very basic robots, and that is it. But I'm gonna get better. That'll be on my list of things to learn. Yeah, winter time is sleepy hibernating time for me. Agreed! Yes. Yes, and it is so hard sometimes to be, like, engaging, and it's like it gets dark at 4 and you're like, all right, okay, so we're going to bed soon, and it's like, oh no, we've still got like 2 hours left of work at least. Oh, dude, did you just tip me?
Champagne party.
Wait, oh man, the tip vanished. I didn't see it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you for the tip.
Champagne party.
Oh, dude, thank you so much. Wait, hang on, how do I, okay, right, let's save this, go back. We can find out. Dude, thank you so much. Okay. Was it $100? Holy dude, thank you. Thank you. Dude. Thank you so much. That really means a lot. Thank you. That is a lot of money, and I really appreciate that. Champagne isn't cheap. Okay. So I might not buy champagne because I'm not super into fizzy wine, and the last time I was gifted champagne as a sort of award thing was that was the last time I bought champagne. It's like it was a gift, and I really scandalised my mother by mixing it with Ribena because I thought it'd be like a Kir or something, like a Kir Royale. But apparently mixing champagne with Ribena is like a big no-no for a lot of people. So fish and chips. Oh, hell yes. Yeah, you are my kind of drinker. Mimosa. Oh, yeah. Oh, I tell you what, some Kahlua and an espresso martini. Some Kahlua, some vodka, some espresso. Now we're talking. Or some Belgian beer. Like a Trappist. Oh, thank you, Scuba Muck. I tell you what, so when the last evening of the Kickstarter, I was going to stream at the end just as a sort of like end of Kickstarter celebration, I guess, just for fun, to be honest, because I enjoyed it. And I might buy something with that money and then we'll have it as a sort of celebration. That will... Aw, thank you. Not that I get to drink much anymore. I think it'd send me straight to sleep. Yeah. Although, we can make an exception. That would be cool. It will be done. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'll look forward to that. Thank you, dude. Thank you. Oh. After this degree, I won't be looking back towards study at all, but I will study only new skills I love. Only new skills. I love that. Hate college, school books. Yes, Karen. Yes. Yes, I am not keen on lectures and like sitting in a lecture and then having to try and remember everything and regurgitate it in exams. I don't enjoy that. I don't enjoy being assessed on my knowledge either. I find it a lot harder to present my knowledge when I'm being assessed on it. But learning for learning's sake, I love learning through YouTube, which is honestly one of the best teaching things in the world. I love learning through doing and just like starting projects and learning new skills in order to be able to complete the projects. I love learning just like, so here's a new way that I've started learning is with ChatGPT advanced voice mode and then asking it questions. So this morning, for example, while I was like slowly waking up and making that rose arch, making a new one, at the same time that I was modelling it, I was like asking it questions. So I'm getting it at the moment to do, if Earth was like a D&D world and we were doing D&D world building, can you talk to me about this country or that country? So today we were doing Singapore and like how the government there works and how ChatGPT likens it to a council of wise elders. Now, I need to go and fact check a whole bunch of this stuff. But the way that I'm learning through it, it's just, I feel like I'm gaining a lot more context and I'm able to ask, like, so it's talking about different religions. And then I was like, oh, so what percentage of people are the different religions? And it was going, oh, well, about 30% are Buddhist, then, 5% are Hindu. I think it was more like 20% are Hindu, 5% Muslim, whatever. And then it was like, this percentage are folk religions. And I was like, oh, what are the folk religions? Can you tell me more about them? And then it was telling me about the history of the folk religions. And it was just a really nice way of learning that was interactive, no pressure, and I could be doing stuff with my hands. So my ADHD brain is still like doing things. And then, yeah, I've really enjoyed that as a new way of learning. So I'm not super stoked by OpenAI as a company, and I really don't like that they're going from a non-profit to a profit and then like cutting out the like independent oversight board. I don't like all the engineers leaving the company and why, but I have to admit their advanced voice mode product is really great as a learning tool. Hey, you're also Hindu. Nice. See, I know so little about your religion and I would love to learn more, but one thing I do love is the Festival of Light, Diwali. I think that is so cool. And I really love that it's like a multi-theist language. Like, it's not monotheism, one god. I love that there are multiple gods through it. And I like the idea of the creator and the destroyer. It's a really cool religion. And as far as I understand it, Hinduism is the oldest religion. I mean, there are different strands of it, different strains, but it's the oldest one still being practiced today, even older than Judaism, which is amazing. It was AI's decision. Ooh. Man, I've done exactly the same thing where I like have a conversation, I keep on chatting, and then I go back and read chat, and I'm like, oh, that was from earlier, and I've missed that. Ah, it was the AI's decision to make big bucks. Oh wait, hang on. YouTube is the GOAT. Yes, I learned so much from it, and not from school where I've invested millions. Yes, I agree. I feel I've learned more from YouTube than from school. And I also feel like, so just doing this business and doing Modular Realms, I feel like I've learnt so much more from just doing the thing than I would ever get from, like, a course about business, say. I'm a big fan of learning by doing. I'm also thinking, for some of these, I was just going to do them stone grey on the other side. I could do them wood on all four sides. What do you think? I'm not sure. I mean, to be honest, these are just illustration pieces. I've just got so much brown left over. Gosh darn it, Annabelle. Too much brown. Experience is what you get when you did get what you wanted or didn't. Yes. Yeah. Well, I feel like you get more experience when you fail than you do when you pass, like more XP. I feel like I definitely learn more from my failures than I do from my successes. Maybe? Festival of Light, yes, it just passed a few days ago. It was awesome. Hey! Now Christmas is coming. We will go to the church to celebrate it. Oh, fantastic. So, do Hindus celebrate Christmas? Sorry, excuse my ignorance. Do Hindus celebrate Christmas? Or is that something of your family and community? No one remembers anything when you got it right. Yeah, I have to say, I've definitely noticed that, like, lessons where I've got something wrong, I have really learnt a lot better. For sure. Okay. Man, I'm gonna be real, you guys. I'm probably gonna go in a wee sec, because I wouldn't mind doing that filming. Ooh, while we've still got light, and light is gonna go in like 2 hours. So, I tell you what, I'm probably going to love you and leave you. Oh, I've just noticed it had the Notion Pro thing up there. Ah. I thought I got rid of that before the stream started. Yeah, most Hindus celebrate different religious festivals because we do live very close to each other. Ah, I like that. I love multicultural stuff. Well done, sausage. That is the right call. Something I'm meaning to re-Kickstarter is if you're planning on making your adventure an add-on. Ooh. I hadn't thought of that, but I could. I also have another adventure written that I was thinking of doing as well as an add-on. So the adventure as it is going to be a PDF because of the printing costs. But of course, if we're not doing injection molding and we're doing them molded from ferrous resin, then the money that would have gone towards the tool we could do towards doing making a physical book. I mean, that would be freaking amazing. I'll come back to you on that one. At the very least, I hadn't thought of doing it as an add-on, but why not? Yeah, why not? Okay, you guys, I am going to love you and leave you and get on with the rest of my day. I think, yeah, probably won't be streaming tomorrow, but I would like to be streaming again soon, because I just enjoy chatting, let's be real. Have fun filming. Thank you, I will. Have good days, good evenings, good nights, good mornings, good afternoons. Yeah, have a good time. And I will see you guys again soon. Look after yourselves. Good afternoon, thank you. Yes, and you. See you later. Look after yourself, you guys. Bye.